Hi, this is Evan with.
Hi, this is Evan with Digilogix Audio, and today I'm explaining my infatuation with self-modulation. This instrument
This is my favorite little text to speech. I'm just gonna have this read the first couple paragraphs of my script.
demo is a technique where a sine operator phase modulates itself via a feedback path connecting its output to its phase input. Hi, this is Evan with Digilogix Audio, and today I'm explaining my infatuation with self-modulation. This instrument demo is a technique where a sine operator phase modulates itself via a feedback path connecting its output to its phase input. To achieve quasi-band limited approximations of SAW and PWM square without introducing another operator, where did the prediction feedback technique originate? This is hard to say, but famously the DX7, the most historically influential and most widely reproduced FM instrument, the DX7, offered this technique as a feature in certain algorithms. Because the DX7 was an FM synthesizer, some mirror.
Okay, so when you have a sine operator modulating its own phase, it excites odd and even harmonics that roll off in a smooth manner. This is very similar to a sawtooth wave, and the geometric waveforms, sawtooth, square wave, triangle, at low notes have thousands of overtones present, and this is a cheeky little way of taking a sine operator which has no overtones, and without introducing an additional operator, being able to get the smooth roll off of a sawtooth wave. So let's give it a listen, and I will start to apply the feedback. It looks just like a sawtooth wave, and there are no pits or valleys in its overtone spectrum. Unlike conventional FM, when you have a self-modulating operator, you get this smooth roll-off spectrum, which is otherwise practically unachievable via frequency modulation. Frequency modulation tends to impart overtone spectra with holes in it and valleys and lobes and notches, and this sawtooth-like smooth roll-off is very unique. And to compare, let's look at a normal sawtooth. So you see all of these overtones are smoothly rolling off. There are no missing harmonics. Let's take a listen to the feedback saw. That compared to So the naive sawtooth is just a little bit brighter, but that is mainly in the 2,000 or 12,000, 18,000 plus hertz range. So really, that's beyond the range of most people's hearing, and for all intents and purposes, this should satisfy um, anything that you need that's just short of audio rate modulation of uh, pulse width square modulation. So let's look at the limiting factor of this approach. So when you apply excessive amounts of feedback, you start to get artifacts in the waveform, and right before the artifacts start to appear, you will see oscillation at the Nyquist frequency. This is called parasitic oscillation, and it's an artifact of this approach aliasing. So let's take a listen to it. You see all that noise? You probably can't hear it because that is at Nyquist frequency, so at 22.5K right now. I can't hear that, but I'm sure YouTube's audio compression is going to freak the hell out at it, but that is completely inaudible. That is beyond the range of your hearing. I can't hear that, but everything processing wise downstream will freak the hell out at that. And that is going to be what the limiting factor is going to look like. So, like I said, that's called parasitic oscillation. That is essentially what this thing does once it starts to alias. Let's apply some DC trapping, because currently we have DC gain that's approximately as loud as our fundamental. So let's also reduce the feedback to 0.31, and we get something that looks like this. I'm using this limiter just to turn this down. Often with sawtooth waves, they are much louder coming out of a one-pole high pass, and this exhibits less of that that gain increase. So I'm only using this limiter just so I don't have to keep adjusting my scope. With the DC trapping, we have this waveform, which is pretty asymmetric, but we're not going to be doing like nonlinear filtering with this. Well, why not? Anyways, let's continue. So, I started getting curious because I love this technique. This is just so sick to me. And I read a paper on ways to improve feedback paths, and through experimentation I found out how to achieve square wave. and get this, so you take your feedback and you square it. You square the feedback path. You square the feedback path, and it gives you a square wave. That's fucking awesome. Shit. Makes me so happy. Sorry about that clipping. So, this is the feedback path squared to approximately negative 0.35, and let's start to sweep the feedback parameter. Oh, sorry, you didn't get to hear the square wave. Let me play that for you. Coincidentally, the combination of the application of feedback squared in combination with feedback just so happens to give you what looks very similar to, well, you tell me if you recognize it. Let me put the high pass filter on it, and you tell me what you see. I know, dude, that's so sick. So this is pulse width modulation, and this is what the clean waveform looks like. So also kind of a weird waveform, but really what we're trying to do is we're just trying to get close to the spectra of pulse width modulation, and as far as that goes, we're actually really close. So, Another interesting little trait that I think is worth pointing out is I'm going to play a note and then I'm going to play it up like 3 or 4 octaves. So I'm going to now switch to a naive saw wave and turn down this volume because you don't need to hear this yet. But so let me get this so that this scope is a little bit easier to read. So a naive pulse width square is going to be... Fuck, what the fuck was I just talking about?